out there, and welcome to August 1st, the full moon in the sign of Aquarius. And I'm here with Claire. We've been doing our discussion on the new moon and the full moon and the ways in which the sign that they are in infuses a theme and something to muse on in your life. And we're providing some information that hopefully you can take in and process or digest and make sense for yourself. But the idea is that this is support and guidance and some education around this natural process that's happening all of the time that we can't see. The shift and the phases of the moon and the energy and the themes that we feel but cannot see per se, except if you look in the sky and you see the different phases. So I will move into shifting the voice to Claire, who is our house astrologer and therapist. And we've had a great dialogue between the two of us for a long time, sharing this common love for accessing support and guidance through things that are always here, we can't see, but finding ways to put words to it, which is why I asked Claire to use her voice for that. So without further ado, I'll shift gears and see what Claire has to say about a full moon in Aquarius, and we'll go from there.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Let's see. So when I say Aquarius, you think water, like highly likely, but it's because it starts with aqua, but it's a water bearer, so it's an air sign. And so we're in a realm of ideas and concepts in Aquarius, and probably my favorite concept, which is that of brotherly love and collective governance. Jamie and I were talking earlier, as she said, about the aqueducts, and that being a great way of expressing the water bearer concepts of thinking ahead on behalf of your community, what will be in everyone's best interest, and leading and governing, and mostly the Aquarian angle is leading with new ideas, new discovery, which takes a certain amount of ingenuity and to create a new idea, like, hey, maybe the earth is round, and risk, hey, maybe I'm going to get killed if I say that to anybody, and that's a real risk. It's true. Aquarius has to be given the space to think outside the box. Now let's back up and talk about the moon, because we're not talking about the signs in their solar aspect. We're talking here about the signs in their lunar aspect. And so with the moon, I always say the moon first. So we're not going to ignore the fact that the moon is the light, the luminary in our sky that governs the ocean, the tides. It's in our astrological charts, the moon is inimicably representative of your emotional body, just like the ocean. So I say to people, if you want to know what your moon sign is, close your eyes. That's your moon sign. It's a little like game you can play with yourself, yeah. Because who you are when your eyes are open and you're interacting with what you see. But when you close your eyes, when you go inside, yeah. It's a whole nother you. And that is vast. And that's why I'm trying to get us to think about the moon and what it represents. And then we go through our discussion already adjusting in that way. We are in the moon space. And so we're in that inner part of you. So if you're in there and you're already tapped into how maybe in some way watery it feels, even if it's, even if your moon is a fire sign, there's a watery quality of, it's warm water. It's, I don't want to go on too much with that, but it's a watery, emotional, collective, unconscious space that we're beginning in, and how interesting that might match with this metaphor for Aquarius of the aqueduct. How do we govern collectively? How do we lead collectively? The collective unconscious. It's sort of a match there. The water bearer now comes to light as a helpmeet for our vastness, for our need for, novel ways of moving through our lives with an emotional consciousness, being aware of what we need, being aware of what we must give to others to get along. And so for me, the full moon today in Aquarius, I've been thinking about the courage it takes to change direction, courage it takes to realize that something could be done differently and should be done differently and must be done differently in order to feel into yourself more comfortably, more honestly, more joyously, more responsibly. So everyone can feel helped, I believe, by someone who's going to come up to you and say, all that vastness, all that weight, all that irrepressible awareness you have when you're full moon, when the light's on, when you're really confronted with this big body you have to manage within your physical body. I'm going to build you an aqueduct that's really going to work for you, and it's going to source from the clearest, healthiest source, and it's going to bring to as many places in you that need it, and then it's going to carefully dispose of what isn't needed for you. That's what an aqueduct would do throughout your emotional body. And I really do want to encourage people to take this opportunity. Picture a warm and forgiving light, but an intense light, shining in full moon glory on your ocean, on your inner reservoir of needs and regrets and all the stuff that we produce that we may not have organized in the best way or may not have handled in the best way, and it's all kind of there. This full moon is, here's another way of saying it. The moon governs the tides, right? The tides and of the ocean in physical space. And so if we could harness that concept of, I can shift, I can go in, I can go out, I can be, salty, I can be brackish, I can be more diluted and clear depending on what I need. And this concept of being able to shift internally from, one way of being to another emotionally is handy, and it's possible with the Aquarian ingenuity and faith in new ideas and leading with new ideas and the courage to stick your neck out and say, I'm not giving you this idea to be famous. I mean, whoever first suggested that the earth was round wasn't trying to be popular. They were literally trying to say we might lose fewer sailors if we figure out maps better. I mean, it was for the common good that someone got a new idea, and you can do that too for yourself personally. You can say, I'm going to shift the tide. I'm going to go in a different direction. I mean, you don't have to. Everyone probably can picture what it looks like when the tide is going in, the tide is going out. You have that opportunity now to indulge in a kind of power that maybe you haven't before, which is power over self, or power over self-doubt, and say, I can actually think of a way to do this better, and then just do it. That's really the invitation of this full moon.
Thank you.
It's a private revolution governed by Uranus.
Yes, Aquarius governed by the planet Uranus. Lots of great themes in there, and collectively working together between the power of the moon and of water, and of closing your eyes as a practice if you want to just experience that quality, as Claire mentioned, of going into your own part of the moon in yourself.
Your own ocean.
Your own ocean, your reservoir, everything within. My invitation is to take these themes that felt aligned or sort of highlighted for you, and see where it takes you. There's a lot of power between the full moon, between I loved your description of sort of the inner aqueduct guidance of sort of clearing the way, so you can make change for yourself. And then I've always valued that being home base, when you start with yourself first, to then bring what you deem natural and appropriate to the community. But start at home. Start within your own home. That's a lot of what these meditations and invitations are, and some space to reflect on, to then move forward with. So
I think it's a superpower.
Aquarius, or these?
What you're describing.
Yes.
I think it's a superpower that we should teach our children, and we would all feel better in the collective unconscious. Here's my Earth is round shout out, that
Exactly.
If we all practice this, if we learned this at school, we would have a lot more energy, to have joy and spontaneity and trust. If we started at home, like Jamie's saying.
A healthier self and community. All right, so enjoy. We will see you in the new moon, the next phase, in 2 weeks, and we'll see you then. Thank you, Claire.
Thank you.